Hi everybody, it's Tommy Jo from Bird Street Studio, and I am here to do the very last day of Dephemerember, day 31, and this is for specimen card and fallen leaves. So I made this specimen card as a sample to see if it worked, and I wanted to kind of keep it as a journaling space, so I left the whole back blank. And it did work, and I did a butterfly in it because I knew that I would use that. I don't know how much I would use fallen leaves, but we're going to try it. So what I'm going to do is get my supplies, as many as I can think that I'm going to use so that they're close at hand so we don't waste a lot of time. I'm going to look for something that we could put in the center here for fallen leaves maybe. But I love this, and I would like to create a couple more of things similar. Now this I made out of a 3x5, two 3x5 index cards. Just, I put the line sides together like this. I cut out the square, and I had some leftover from work, actually. Where is it? I'll find it, but I had some leftover pieces. This is laminated pieces where at work we laminated something and then the customer wanted it cut out. So I'm going to get everything ready and then I'll come back and we'll get started. Okay, I'm back with what I think is all I'm going to need to make these. I think I would like to make two, so I'm going to go ahead and pull a couple more index cards. We'll try to make two. We'll see how that goes. Okay, these are just 3x5 index cards. I see where I could use larger ones and make a larger, kind of an enlarged version of a specimen card, but I really like this size. It is 3 inches by 5 inches, and it would fit in a belly band, vertical belly band, a horizontal belly band, a pocket, a tuck. It's just the right size, I think. So that's what we're going to try to make. So what I got out was, let me move these aside. What I got out is a ruler with a metal edge, just because I need that when I use my X-Acto knife, and the X-Acto knife is going to be used to cut the index cards out here. I got our index cards. I had a pencil to draw the lines first so I can cut. I have distress ink and some water to try to age the cards a little bit. I got out a stamping acrylic block and a larger one because that's what I'm going to put my distress stain on. And I got some stamps. And then I found a long time ago, I die cut these leaves, and they are kind of big. I mean, probably, I think I could maybe cut part of it down and make it fit, but then they'd have to go back to back. So some of these are opposites because of how I cut them. Some are not, and I've used a bunch, so I don't know what is and isn't. Like when you put these two together, oh, look at that. They line right up. I'm going to use these because they're opposites. Okay? So what I did is I evidently colored on the opposite side of this one. So let's use these for one of them, and then we'll maybe pick another butterfly or something for the other. I'm not sure I have. These are embossed. I embossed the leaves. This one looks like an opposite. I don't know. We'll try that too. That's embossed, but these are pretty heavy, so we'll see how that works. So put those aside. I'm going to put our leaves up there and put our card aside, and I will just move forward with how I started before when I did my sample. So the first thing I wanted to do was, excuse me, was kind of distress these cards. And what I've seen a lot of people do is they just put their ink on their stamping block. And I'm going to use both Vintage Photo and Walnut Stain, maybe a little of both. I'm going to spray some water on here. And then I'm just going to start dipping these cards like this. We may need a little more, and because I don't want to ruin my ink pads, whether I use ink or oxides, I always clean the water off because I don't want to, you know, ruin the pad or water down the ink or whatever. So let's do that again. We don't need that much, but I do like the color when I mix them. Instead of being like a sepia brown, it kind of comes out to be like a gray brown, a little bit more like aged, and I like that effect. And I want to get all the edges, so I noticed that the edge of this is not really. So there, we got that, and there's another edge right there. And then I'm not going to bore you with it, but I'm going to go ahead and get my dryer out and dry these. And to keep them as flat as I can, you want to dry in both the top and the bottom side of it. All right, so I've got all 4 cards dried. They're pretty dry. I think that top edge might be a little damp. So now we want to cut out our window. And so what I did is I measured down however far I wanted to go. In this case, I think I did let's see what I did, 1/4 of an inch or something. I actually did 1 to 3/8 of an inch all the way around. So I actually used my acrylic ruler to do that because I could see through it. So I measured 3/8 and I just drew a line here lightly. Then I measured 3/8 on this side. I don't know how long I want my window to be, so measured 3/8 on this side. I'm trying to avoid this little divot in my ruler. You know, I got the wonky ruler going on. Okay, like that. And then we wanted to kind of decide how long. So I'm going to take these leaves that we found, and if I put them like right in here, we probably could make the window go that tall. So I'm going to make a little line right here. And I'm going to hold the card flat on a line here. Then I'm going to draw a line straight across. And this is where this clear ruler really comes into play, because I can see this line on the ruler lines up with the card, so I know I'm straight. Then I want to look at it and decide if that's too big, too small. I think it'll be fine. So with that in mind, we want to do our 3/8. I'm going to go ahead and draw the lines, 3/8, and do the bottom, and then we'll start cutting them out. Okay, so I've got them all marked off. And now the next thing is we're just going to cut them with our X-Acto knife. So that's why I use a ruler that has a metal edge, because I used this ruler one time and that's what cut the wonky side off. I also used my my other wood ruler and I just cut right into the wood. So metal edge. If you have a metal ruler, that works. Metal edge works. So I want to have this always so I can see where my line is. I hope I don't get my head in the way here, because I have a little bit of a shadow. So, you know, these might not come out exactly perfect, but that's okay. And I'm just going to turn it, and we want to just cut out this centerpiece. Okay, and so this is what I have. My corners are not exactly cut, so I just kind of poke at them. And this could all change. When I go to line them up together, we may have to trim them out. So don't, you know, be as particular as you can, but don't worry too much about it, because now I'm going to cut this other one out. And I could probably do it like this, but what I find, because the cards are kind of ripply, it's easier for me to do one at a time. That way one piece isn't sliding under the other one or anything like that. And then hopefully we can get them to somewhat line up. And we may need to trim them, but that looks not bad. I wanted to show you another way you can trim these if you don't have an X-Acto knife. I have scissors. If you make just a cut like that, a rip or something, and you take your scissors and you cut out to the corner there. Take this one and cut out to your corner. And some people, that's good enough. I do an extra cut, and I'll show you in just a second. Because you could just cut now up and around, but I actually go ahead and I make an extra cut right here out to this line, kind of to the center of that line. And you don't have to do that by any means. A lot of people don't. But it just makes it easier for me to then cut right here, cut to the corner, and pull that out. So that's another way you can do it without using an X-Acto knife. And when I come in here and I go to turn that corner, if I don't know if you can see it, let me stand up and see if you can see it. So right up here in the corner, when I go to turn around, I turn inside the lines, because I can fix that. But if I turn and go outside, then I've kind of ruined it. I've gone bigger than I needed to. So it's better to go a little bit short, and then you can kind of fix that with your scissors. And there, and it's fixed. Now we're right to the line both sides. So again, I cut in a little bit shy of the line when I turn the corner. Okay, so I've got them all cut. Now what I want to do is I need to cut. So I've got all this leftover like laminated acrylic stuff. And I don't know if these are wide enough. Oh, they are. They are just wide enough to work if I do it this way. Perfect. So I can actually do, so I know for a fact that I cut this line 3 inches from the top. So I know that if I have a 3-inch square, I'll have a little bit of space on either side. So if we cut a little over 3 inches, we are good. And we need 4 of them, sorry. So we want to do a little over 3 inches, and this is scrap, so I'm not going to be real particular with it. So we've got 1, 2, 3 inches. So let's do like 3.5. Which you can do it this way. Okay, that works. Or you can put it on your cutter. This stuff goes right on your cutter. So I'm going to do that because it'll go a lot faster if I have to cut 4. Let's go ahead and do that. So we've got 1. We need another 3.5. Whoops. Turn your cutter, Tom. We need another 3.5, and I know 3.5 is right here. So we'll cut there. 2 and another one. 3. And I'm going to save this little piece. I don't know what for, but I'm going to save it. And then I've got another piece, and we'll do 4. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put this plastic away. Like I said, this is all just cut-offs of lamination, and that's why you see, you can tell it was laminated because there's air pockets in it. And those are in my specimen card thing, and I think it looks fine. It looks fine. And what I wanted to point out too was when I glued these together, I had some glue seepage right here, and I was really disappointed because it stayed white for a real long time, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'll bet it may not dry because I've sealed it in, but it did, and it's clear, and it looks kind of like a blemish like those, and I love it. It just adds to the vintage, or the, you know, the naturalness of it. So I'm going to go ahead and put our plastic away. And our cutter. And do I have 4? Yes. Okay. And this is where we want to glue our acrylics onto our pieces. And what I used was my Barely Art glue for that. And I tried to keep it away from the acrylic as far as I could. But like I said, it did seep a little bit. And so I just kept it away from there a little bit. And then I wanted to measure how far down, about down to there. And it doesn't go all the way to the edge, so okay, not good. Yeah, don't drop it right in the glue like that. Okay, and I'm going to try to set this on here. I want to do it this way so I can make sure that I'm getting it on both sides and the top, that I've caught it the whole way. looks like I have. And this is what I did. I tried to push the glue out instead of in when it's squished, but see, I can see that there's glue right there. Okay, so we've got one on. And this is the one that we kind of tore the top here. Anyways, so then we want to put this one on, and I'm going to guess it's about the same in terms of how much I've hung it over. So we're going to go close to the edge, but not right to the edge. Okay, so now I want to erase all my lines here that I can. My pencil lines from where I drew on there. If you don't get them all, that's fine. Okay, so we've got them all erased, and then the next step you can do, you kind of can do it however you want. You can stamp and then glue them in, however you want to do it. What I did with the butterfly was I went ahead and put that in first, glued them together, then I stamped on it. So what I want to do is, because these are pretty heavy, I want to go ahead and glue these together. They're also embossed, so I want to make sure that I have glue all over these to hold them together. Because you're not able to glue the two acrylic pieces right to each other, only on the edges, you don't want these like popping open at all, because it could affect whether the acrylic stays flat or not. Okay. And then I'm going to really press this down. I should probably be on my glue book, Tommy. Okay, I'm going to really press this down. Make sure that they are glued nice and tight and that there's a good seal all the way around. I probably would be better if I just did this on paper, but this is what I had on hand. I had them in my box, so I thought I'm just going to use them. Then we want to take one of our pieces and figure out how we're going to put it. Let's put it like, maybe like this, and we can get the whole thing. Yeah, I think that'll work. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to glue these two pieces together, and we want them glued well. And this is where that glue can seep up onto the acrylic. And remember what I said, it was white when I saw it and I panicked kind of, but it did dry clear. So if we get a little on there, we're good. But I don't think I used my finger to flatten it, and I think I will do that this time. But this is very thick, so I want to make sure this is very thick. So I want to make sure that I have a lot of glue on here to hold these cards together. Okay. So I think I'm just going to run my finger to kind of flatten that glue a little bit, real close to the edges. Ooh, I got a little on there. I think we're okay. I'm going to go ahead and put my leaf in here. Okay, and then I'm going to put this piece on top. And I do have some glue in there, but like I said, I'm not going to panic because overnight it dried clear. But I do want to make sure. Now I may sew around this one because it's really thick. This leaf is very thick. So I may go ahead and sew around these. I'm not sure that the other leaf is as thick. It is thick, but it's not embossed. So it may not seem as thick when I put it in there. Puppies are watching TV, so it's very loud. I may have to go out and turn that down. I see a little bit of white space where I didn't line it up good. Let's use our distress tool and try to get rid of some of that white. If there's a lot, you can just trim it off. If there's just a little, you can usually just distress it, but this is kind of a lot. You know, it's funny how you can take your time when you're not videoing, like if you're making your sample piece, because you have all the time in the world, but when you're doing a video, you want to keep it under a certain amount of time. So I think you find yourself hurrying a bit. I know I find myself hurrying a bit. Okay. And then we're going to find where we should put this one, like there. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this. I want to run my finger just to flatten it a little. There. Not bad. So we did 2 leaf ones, right? I'm going to trim this off, and I think I am going to take these over. I have some beige thread in my machine, and I'm going to go ahead and sew around them, and then I will come back and we will do our stamping. I'm excited. Okay, I'm back. Now this is the original one that I made, and I didn't sew anywhere around it, but these were paper. So they were very thin, and I have a good seal all the way around it. These, when I put them in, they were cardstock, and this one in particular was embossed. So it's very thick. You can feel it. This was also a cardstock, and it's very thick. But what I did was, on this one where it was really thick, I sewed around the acrylic and around the whole card to keep it. But this one, I had a pretty good seal all the way around. I mean, I might try to get a little glue in there, but I only just sewed around the acrylic. And I think this one's going to be good once I stick a little bit of glue in there, will be good. Just because I kind of like this, that it didn't have stitching. So I would, in the future, probably not put anything that thick in here. So we're going to sit down and we're going to stamp and dress these babies up and make them look like specimen cards. Okay, the first thing I think I want to do is I want to go ahead and round the corners. I really like the idea of the rounded corners on there. So I have a corner rounder. You can use your scissors to do that if you want. I just did the 1/4 inch on these. Another reason why I probably would prefer not to stitch it, but I don't know. Okay, I want to go ahead and distress them. I'm going to first do it with Vintage Photo. And remember, we're going to leave one side blank. It's for journaling or whatever, because it actually could act as a journaling card. I love that. I'm just doing this to kind of press down where the needle punctures the cardstock. It leaves really rough edges, and I think if I push that down, they wouldn't be as prominent as they are there. This side's fine, but now let's see if it makes a difference. I'm just going to distress around here a little bit. Let's see if it makes a difference on this side at all. Oh, yes, it does, a little bit. They don't look quite as pokey. There's still obviously holes. But I'll be honest with you, I just really like the idea of no stitching. But we'll see when we decorate them if it makes a difference or not. Okay, so let's move this one out of the way. We need to come up with some stamping to do on here. And these are the backs, you can tell from the stitching. So I'm going to stamp on the front. And I pulled out 2 stamps. Obviously, I pulled out Stampers Anonymous Tim Holtz Field Notes CMS 396. And then I also pulled out Stampers Anonymous Tim Holtz Tidbits CMS 488. And I kind of think I used, for this one, I used the thing that says field label. But I'm thinking I might use this one that says Specimen and then the other one that says Collect. So let's see what we can do with these. Okay. Put this one aside. I need to get my black stamp pad, and y'all know I ordered this and didn't know it was this huge thing back when I didn't know any better. So So it's not real easy to use. And I have an acrylic block. Let's just put this on. I'm using, I got these acrylic blocks. They're the Tim Holtz collection. And I got them because they have the grid. And I really like that because I can then put my stamp on the right side and kind of line it up with the grid, sort of. Okay. So I'm thinking if we put this, okay, I'm just going to do it. Maybe I should put right up here. Oh, I like it. Okay, and I want to use, and then the other one we wanted to do was, because we used field labels, so we want to use Specimen. Yes. And again, I'm just going to kind of try to line it up there. Okay. Oh, I love it. I'm going to go turn the TV down a little. It's like right in my ear. I'm sure you can probably hear it, but I can't concentrate. Give me just a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back and I'm not hearing the TV out my left ear here. Okay, so far I love them. Now we just need to pick some stamps to go on them. And really, I'm looking for something kind of long to go along this edge. I think something like that will work. And remember, these probably aren't going to go in the same journal, so I can kind of do them the same if I want. Or close to the same. Okay. This is where they get kind of cool. You just start adding odd things to them. Oh, I love that. And I'm going to do this one, but I think I will do it maybe right across the top. Love it. Oh, so that's what I did on this one. I did the identification right across the top. Love it. Okay, so I'm going to just probably not talk. If this takes a while, I'll fast forward. If not, I just want to add to these to show you how you can decorate them. I think we're good there. I think the only thing I have left is I want to stamp filed on them in red. Also, these pockets, I have a video on how I made these, what I made them from, and how I made them. So if you're interested, just look in my videos and you'll see. But I want to stamp filed on them in red. So let me find that. Here it is, filed. And I need to find some red ink. You could use blazing red. How about that? And that is a StazOn ink. Oh, I like it. I like it. Perfect. Okay, let's clear this off and we'll show you what we made. Dephemerember was pretty hectic for me this year because my grandson came home from Japan and I wanted to spend as much time as I could, so it made figuring out videos and time frames and that a little bit difficult. But so in one sense I'm kind of happy to have my recording done. On the other hand, I feel like I was a little less creative this year because my mind wasn't as on it. But what I did find was watching other videos, I was highly inspired by everybody's creativity, and I am going to try a lot of the things that I saw on other people's videos that I had either not tried before or forgotten or whatever. So anyways, Dephemerember, let's wrap it up. So let me find my... Okay, so this is my sample one that I made, and this was for Specimen. Let me find a pencil. For Specimen card and Fallen Leaves. Oh, we did the altar tag and then wallpaper. So that's for day 31. So this was the sample. And again, I left it blank for journaling. These are going to become journaling cards. And we made these two today, in which I sewed around them because what was in the center was so thick. Maybe I should hold them up a little bit closer, just a little bit. They look so cool. Get rid of the glare. Anyways, thank you, Louisa and Barbara, for hosting again this year. And I had a grand time when I was able to concentrate on it. I did get them all done, and I did get them all videoed, even though the first few videos I combined them so that I could, condense my time. So thank you so much, and thank you to my subscribers, past, present, and future, and a big thank you to all of the new friends and creatives that I have met here in Dephemerember. Thank you for including me. I think I got an invitation or a tag this morning to to take part in a challenge, and I'm going to look into that and see if I can participate in that. Thank you to those who referenced my channel in their description boxes of their videos. I appreciate it so much, and I certainly tried to return the favor. I'm trying to watch as many as I can. I think in January, I'm going to try to watch as many of the Dephemerember videos that I can once everything is calm. So thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and I hope you had a great 2025, and you have a wonderful 2026. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.